Welcome, everybody, to the Independent Mind Podcast. We are your host. I am DJ Mixwell, and I'm with my boy, Giovanni. How you feeling, my dude?
Man, absolutely killing it, dude. Had a great day today. Super productive, 12-hour day, knocked it out. What about you? Pretty good?
I had a pretty good day. Just a busy day of cooking beats. Ate a lot of food, got a workout in, got some fresh air, and just doing my thing. But anyways, this week for episode 3, we have ourselves a special guest. He is the owner of ToTo Entertainment that handles management, consultations for music artists, advertisements, and marketing. We have our friend, Danny Calderin. How you doing, guy?
I'm doing good, man. Living the dream. Can't complain. You know what I'm saying? Same shit. Woke up early, been grinding all day, hit the gym, went to training, you know what I'm saying? Was sending out emails, just grinding all day, man. Trying to get some sales in.
That's beautiful to hear, my man. So,
yes, sir.
Just to start it all off, for people who may not know you, give us just a slightly little background about where you're from and how you got to Vegas, and then we'll start going from there.
Shit. We're going all the way back. No, okay. So I was born, my name's Danny, you know what I'm saying? I was born in Caguas, Puerto Rico. Fucking my family moved out of there when I was like 6 years old. Ended up moving to Boston, you know. Got just a old school Puerto Rican cultured family, as old school as it gets, you know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful thing. So anyways, I was born in Puerto Rico, grew up in Boston, ended up moving out here to Vegas when I was like 12 years old. Been out here ever since, you know. Vegas is my fucking home now. As far as how I got into music and hip hop specifically, I guess it's really more like in the bloodline, you know, in the culture, especially out in the East Coast. Like I didn't listen to any rock. I didn't listen to anything but hip hop like my entire life, you know? And like I always just had a passion for it. It was always not something that I could particularly do well, but I respected everyone that was their craft, and everyone that could express themselves with that craft. I was honestly jealous of my whole entire life, you know? So I just mingled my way into the industry, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah, I remember when we were living together and we had the townhouse, that I think it was around that time or maybe slightly before we moved in with each other that you were talking about getting into the music industry. So it was very interesting on the way how you did it, because not a lot of people want to be in the industry, but they kind of just don't know how. But for someone like you, who has had a music mindset and a bit like more a music interest and a business mind state, you found your way to get in. So what was
100%.
So I guess we'll start off with the next question. How did you, or initially, what made you want to get into the industry, and then how did you do it? Like, was it finding a certain artist? Was it having a friend that like, what was it that made you want to be, and how'd you got into managing an artist? Multiple.
Honestly, okay. So as far as managing artists, I'll get into that here in a little bit. But as far as like getting in the industry in itself, I mean, I think even like little stepping stones 5-6 years ago, even with you and shit. Like I remember you were DJing a performance once, you know. This was before weed was legal. You DJ'd a performance, called me up on stage, and I started throwing doobies out to the crowd, you know what I'm saying? Getting people involved. We got in so much trouble.
You're an MC.
Well, we didn't get, no, straight up. Yeah, no, you know what I'm saying? I was just out there trying to get people involved, you know? I fucked with the energy, you know, especially because at that time you were dropping a hip hop set, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's very, like, I just slowly but surely came into being in the music industry, always having homies. Like, I've always had a spot. So I've always had homies come over and record at my spot, you know what I'm saying? Because we're all out here in the streets and shit. So it's like, yo, come record in my 1-bedroom apartment. We're going to make it happen, you know? And like just little things like that, being able to give people opportunities for them to create, because we weren't gifted those opportunities growing up, you know? And then I slowly but surely got myself in positions to be able to help people out, even if it's something as simple as giving the homies, when they weren't even taking music that seriously, giving them a place to record, you know? And then it went from that to I actually have my cannabis coconut oil brand that I was pushing and I've been pushing. And I remember I was trying to brand it out, trying to think about how I'm going to brand it out, And it was while me and you were living together, actually, that I was like, you know what? I'm going to host an event that shows the diversity of music here in Vegas. It was the very first Vibes in the Valley. If I'm not mistaken, it was like December 15th or December 16th of 2018 or some shit like that. And so initially I threw the event so that I could kind of like promote it with my cannabis brand or my cannabis coconut oil brand. But it was middle of December, outside event, cold, and we still had a good show out, you know? So once I kind of did that, once I kind of threw the event to brand myself out and brand out my cannabis cooking and whatnot, I had a couple people reach out to me and I just kind of thought to myself, like, I think I could do this, you know? Like not just have homies that are in the industry. I think I can give them opportunities that they couldn't give themselves. And if I can't find the opportunities, I can create the opportunities, you know? And since then I've done just that. You know, I've put together shows in front of crowds that people haven't been able to perform on, you know? Like for example, on Halloween, kind of fucked up to say, you know, but like middle of a pandemic, I mean, you know, Mick, so you DJ the event, you know? We had 500, 600 people at my house. Fat ass party, got crazy ignorant real quick, you know? But the fact that I was able to give my artists a way to perform in the middle of a pandemic and nonetheless perform in front of hundreds of people in the middle of a pandemic, you know? Like that shit I don't take for granted. And I noticed that right from the get-go in 2018. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. I'm good. I can get people together. You know, I don't know if it's considered a skill or whatever it might be, you know, whatever it may be, but like I can get people together. Yes, sir.
So that mentality of just having an idea for something that you could potentially do, something that you're naturally attuned for. When did you realize that you had this? Because, dude, it seemed like out of nowhere you started this cannabis coconut oil line.
Yep.
You know, it's like I didn't speak to you for a period of time. Next thing I spoke to you, like you had a whole bunch of these jars lined up and you had like a full streamlined system on how you were creating it and,
Yes,
selling
sir.
it, distributing it. So okay, so kind of just going back to that, like what caused you to start initially that first business move, which was the cannabis oil?
Led to everything.
It just
else.
led to it snowballing into this like huge entrepreneurial mindset.
Honestly, I think it's as simple as fucking hunger breeds opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like at the time, I had a falling out with a couple of business partners, so I was in a difficult position. You know, me and my ex-girlfriend of 5 years have broken up. You know what I'm saying? So like at that point, I was just hungry. You know, I had something to prove to myself that like I can do whatever I set myself out to do. Whatever I set out to do, I can do by myself, you know? And that was kind of the first vision that I had that was all about me, you know? And that's why it was very important that I threw my last name on there. That's why it was very important that I have my last name on the brand because that pushed me. It was kind of like a pride thing, you know? I was like, yo, I'm not going to flop this, you know? I promise you that because that's got my name on it. It was like the first thing in my life that I was like, yo, this is a vision for me that I'm going to push for myself. I'm not doing this for other people.
That's absolutely incredible, man. Like in the first podcast, we spoke about how like when I started my business and the way I make some of the biggest moves is usually when I'm backed against a corner, whether that's, you know, me putting myself in that corner or finding myself backed away this corner where there's no way to go but forward. It seems like you as well had that same trait that, you know, when your back's against the corner, dude, and your only way forward is like forward or you crash. It seems like you're definitely a fighter.
That's where fighters are bred, bro. When their fucking backs are against the ropes, man. At the end of the day, you can either let life hit you down and you stay down, or you just pick your head up and you keep swinging. You know what I'm saying? Like there ain't no other way around it. And like there's two types of people. You know, you like there's plenty of people that have been in situations that I've been that would have folded. You know, and then would have just wanted to live a nice, stable like a nice, stable American white picket fence life, you know? And at the end, you know, would have just settled for that. And I'm like, dude, my vision is unparalleled, you know, I can't even put my vision into words most of the time because like, I think such big picture, you know?
That's awesome, man. Do you think that's something that you developed over time, or is that something you think you've had innately, all along? And then also, like, have you actually given thought to like the thoughts going through your mind whenever you're making these moves, whenever you're, choosing a fight rather than flight? And do you have any words of advice for somebody else who may be dabbling with starting something up of their own?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm glad you asked me that because, yeah, that's actually very important motto that I live by that I'm about to share is that at the end of the day, life is going to go on no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like 4 years from now, I'm 25 right now. 4 or 5 years from now, I'm going to be 30 no matter what. Do I want to be the 29, 30-year-old that I want to be, that I know I can be? Or am I just going to wallow in my own pity and victimize myself because of things that have happened in my past? You know, at the end of the day, you know, you just got to know.
Right.
You just got to know that there's always going to be more to it. You know, you just got to keep fighting.
No, that's very true too, is that no matter what, whether if you're down in a slumps or if things are going good, it's all about just having that mindset of just continuous progress and just kind of just not looking back, just putting your head down and just keep on putting in that
and
work.
Keep on putting on, because exactly at the end of the day, 5 years is going to go by no matter what. No matter what, in 5 years, I'm going to be 30 years old. Do I want to be the person? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah, do I want to be the person that I know I can be, or do I want to just come up with excuses for the rest of my life? And I've noticed that more now this year than any other year. It feels like the second I turned 25, like some switch like kicked in my head. And I was like, dude, it's time for you to go all out on everything, you know, like no matter what.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
It's a beautiful thing too, because I've been able to witness your progression and everything of such. You spoke on giving people opportunities. And I remember even before to when you had an apartment that you would even just let me come over. I'm coming in, walking in with my monitors, my DJ equipment, and you would just let me DJ. So as you started progressing and you were doing your cannabis coconut oil, you started dabbling into throwing events, and then now you're managing some artists. You now own a LED billboard truck as well that does advertisements on the strip, downtown, and everywhere in Las Vegas. So we were having a conversation in episode 1 where we were talking about Giovanni's old business, Fit Prep, and we were talking about systems, and he was talking about how he wished he would have done stuff different with having a better system in place and things of that nature. As you start progressing on with more and more, what are some of the things now that you are implementing in your system to make sure that you just keep on going everything right? And what are some things that you want to do in the future to help create that better system?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about communication, especially in the industry that I'm in. When you're managing an artist, it's all about communication. So like your communication can always get better, can always improve. So like at the end of the day, that's something that I want to continue to improve upon, communicating every single move and making sure every single move is calculated. Everything from as simple as an Instagram post to the date, to what the date looks like on a piece of paper that we're dropping an album on. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, Where My Real Friends At, Barry Bands' upcoming album that drops on June 5th, but here in Vegas, it drops on June 4th. I like the visual, how visually pleasing 6/4 is, the date 6/4, because it completes the number 10, you know? So I feel like it's an attractive looking date, you know? So like everything we do is completely militantly like put together, you know? But I mean, as far as putting together,
I absolutely love that.
Man, it's all a process, man. And like something like that isn't something that just happens overnight, you know what I'm saying? Like my artists are like my brothers, so stuff like that, honestly, a lot of the times it feels like it just comes together. And like when that shit happens, you're like, damn, the universe is on our side. Like,
you know what it sounds like? It's like, I feel like the only way you get to that sort of level where you're paying attention to like the numbers and the way they look appealing to the eye is you got to have such a fucking insane drive to just be so obsessed, like to like the damn near crazy. Like if you're looking like 6'5", no man, 6'4", 6 + 4 = 10. That's way more visually appealing. Like
exactly.
So many people wouldn't even think about that, but you care that much that you're even considering the aesthetic.
Oh, dude, that's how my brain works, man. I mean, at the end of the day, too, like at my core, I'm a salesman, and I know I'm a salesman. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I do when it comes to any of my businesses. That's what the basis is. I'm selling the vision of the artist. I'm selling their music. I'm selling the advertising space on my billboard truck, like whatever it may be. I'm selling. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to everything that I do, I think about it in a psychological standpoint, because that's why I'm so obsessed with business, because I have a quote. I don't know if I made it up or not, but I think I did, that business and sales is psychology in action, like everything about business, everything about sales, it's all literally, you fuck with that, right? Like
plug that.
Bro, it makes so much fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like everything about even like, all right, the best example, Apple. I got AirPods in. I'm using my iPhone right now. You know what I'm saying? Psychologically, Apple won the psychological warfare against Android. Why? You see all those memes about a girl will be posting or something. If he's got green text messages, don't text him back. He's broke. Like shit like that. Like that shit. Like
that shit runs deep. It runs deep.
It's funny, but it runs deep. Exactly. Yeah. That's perfect words to say. Like that shit runs deep because Apple has us so psychologically wired to thinking that they are the epitome of luxury, that we won't accept anything else. I'll never own anything that's not an iPhone. I'll admit it. You know what I'm saying? I'll never own an iPhone or a phone that's not an iPhone now. Why? Because they reeled me in, they fucking
they got
my ass. They got my ass.
Hook and reel.
Like business is literally psychology in action, Like when you're selling something to somebody, you're selling it. Okay, no, let's switch around, different perspective. When you're buying something, you're buying with your emotions, but you justify it with your logic. You know what I'm saying? You buy your dream car. You bought that with your emotions. You wanted to picture yourself. You want to give yourself a little ego boost, whatever it may be. You wanted to picture yourself behind the wheel, whatever it may be. But then after you made the purchase, you justify it with logic. At that point, you're like, yeah, but I mean, this car is going to last me for the rest of my life. Well, I do have a 70,000-mile warranty, so I'm going to save money on this. I'm going to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like sales and business is all psychological warfare. 110%. And that shit is so intriguing to me. And damn intriguing.
I want to bring something up too, because you said that you're because you are good at sales, and that's a fact. And for the times that I've known you, you've always had good communication. And there's one thing that among everything, among a lot of things, excuse me. With those sales, you have a way of with talking people. And one thing that I really, really admire is that you remember people's names, and that and I know it goes a long way.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
What? Because I don't think a lot of people realize that if you know those type of things, and you do remember someone's name off the first go, and
it's little details,
that your sales will come back.
Will skyrocket. They'll come back. All footwork done will not go unpaid. You know what I'm saying? All footwork they've done on these streets. But I mean, to go back to your statement, 110%. I feel like I'm blessed. My dad's a people person. He's a pastor. I feel like he I got that from him as far as I conversate with a lot of people. I think that's why I talk so passionately as well, because my dad blessed me with that. But as far as knowing the little details about people and stuff like that, man, I just care. Like, I just give a fuck about people. Like, I really do. So at the end of the day, it's about, especially when you're in sales, when you're in any type of entrepreneurship, doesn't matter what you do. It's about the relationships you build along the ways, no matter what. And something that I do a lot that I find crazy that other people don't do a lot. Let's say I'll have a client over here. We're chopping it up. He's talking to me about how his grandma's sick. And then I don't see him for 3 months. He comes by 3 months later for another consultation. And when he comes by, I'm like, oh, so how's your grandma doing, man? And that look in their face is like, oh, wow. Like, you were actually listening 3 months ago and like you actually remember. And I'm like, of course I remember. I'm not here to bullshit anybody, you know? I'm here to build, man. I'm here to build one-on-one relationships with everyone in my life. You know, like, I think that's one of my best highs in the world. You know, that's one of the best highs. Like, when you have genuine one-on-one relationships, and you can't expect to scale your business. You can't expect to make sales. You can't expect to build anything really without building relationships, because you never know who someone's going to be 3 years from now, you know? And I don't build a relationship with those intentions. Like, oh, this person might be rich eventually, you know? I don't think of it that way, but you really never know.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I just, like I said, at the end of the day, I just.
All right, guys, sorry about that. We had a quick little network error, but we're going to get right back to Danny talking about relationship management with people.
Yes, sir. So I just feel like building relationships, genuine relationships with people is at the core of any single business you want to build. Doesn't matter what it is, you know? Like, if you're throwing events, you have to know an audiovisual tech, you know what I'm saying? You have to know like a stage crew. You have to know the artist, you know, you have to know the venue owner, like whatever it may be. You have to build those relationships. You have to make people want to work with you. And that all comes, that's another point, but that all comes with giving value to people, bringing value to people, you know, let the venue, like, a lot of people want to throw an event. They don't know where to start. Let the venue owner know, yo, I can make you money. I can pack this place out like you've never seen it before, or at least since coronavirus. I can pack this place out. I can make you money. And like, you show them that you're providing value, and that just starts to build the relationship, because then now they want to provide value for you. And that's just like, it's a snowball effect at that point, you know, as long as you're working with the right people, as long as you're working with people that want to provide value back and want to work at the end of the day, you know?
You know what? This kind of reminds me of a conversation that we had. Believe it was in podcast 1 where we were talking about social media. And whenever you see somebody, you know, whether they be down or whether they be up, like just reaching out and giving them a tap, even if you don't know them. It's kind of a lot of what you're saying is reminding me of that, just that whole like human to human interaction, actually showing people that you care, whether that be through a social media or in life example, just having a moment to like stop and like ask someone genuinely, how are you doing? Right.
How are
or
you
like
doing?
Take their names, remember everything, you know, because you never know, man. Sometimes like people become your best friends, you know, or someone is able to help you, or you're able to help someone out later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 110%. No. And like you said, reaching out to people goes a long way. When people are going through shit, especially, you know I've gone through shit, and the people that did reach out to me, in my head, they're kind of on a list of people that I'm like, okay, like, I know where your head's at, you know, like you care, you know? Or when people are doing good too, we're all out here grinding. You see somebody post an achievement, fucking slide up and be like, hey, congratulations. Hey, good shit, you know? Give them a pat on the back, because you never know. Like, maybe no one else is doing that. And even though you should do your achievements for yourself, it feels good to have people be like, hey, good shit. Hey, I'm proud of you. Hey, keep going. You know, like that could be what makes them keep going at the end of the day, no matter what they're chasing, you know?
Yeah, that's very true too. It's like, even just giving a simple share someone's achievement.
Dude, goes so far. It means so much.
And it really feels good to just be that person to slide up on them. And, you know, even if you don't even really talk to them that much, you just kind of feel good that you just.
I think that makes it even better. When you don't talk to them that much, and it's like, hey man, I know you're not in my life like that. You know, we know you. I know you're not in my circle, but like, I still want you to eat. I still want you to win, and I'm proud of you. The fact that you're chasing that shit, because like, truth be told, 95% of people out here are bums. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna say it. Like 95% of people are bums, and if they're like, and they're settling. You know what I'm saying? So like. When you see people grinding, even if they're not a part of like, even if they're not a part of your life, give them keep grinding out there, man. Because
no, for sure,
not a lot of people are doing that. You know, a lot of people are getting off in their 9 to 5, and they're playing video games and whatever. They're distracting themselves from what their reality is instead of trying to fix their reality, instead of trying to change their reality. You know,
the positivity as well it's so contagious. Like I found that just like recently, I'm not sure if you guys noticed this, but I definitely have. Like, we've gone in this spree of just like sharing each other's shit whenever it comes 100%. Up. And it's like, there seems to be a little circle going of, you know, like, all right, this person has 1,000 friends. You have 300 mutual friends. You know, like you're going to share their post. 300 people have already seen it, are going to see it again. That's fine. They see the support, but then the other 700 are newly exposed. And
are newly exposed. Yeah.
And you do that to enough people, man. And like, you create this, like, even it's unspoken
network.
Yeah. A spider web, just a unit of like, it's so obvious to see like all these people sharing each other's content and helping each other grow.
And even just to add on to that as well, it's once when you can get a few people starting to share it, more people, more times than none, will feel like that they should share it too. Some people just don't like to be the person who initiates it.
Start snowballing.
That's going back to psychology, man. That's a big one right there, man. Like, people, when you're selling shit, you know, like, people buy stuff. As sad as this is, people buy stuff that other people are buying, no matter what. It's a psychological fact.
Keeping up with the Jones, right?
Keeping up with the Jones, man. You can have the best product in the world. If the person you're selling it to doesn't feel like everyone else likes it, they could love it. If the person you're selling to doesn't feel like everyone else would love it, they're not as inclined to buy it. You know, and like, that doesn't necessarily go for independent minds, but like, that goes for sheep. You know, like, it's literally the name of the game. Like, you guys remember when fucking fidget spinners were a trend?
Yeah, massive, dude. Like,
they're massive. For what, 6 months? Why? Yeah. Because it's like, enough people started liking it, then more people started liking it. It was a snowball effect. You
know what's really interesting about that business directly right there, right? Is can you name the mainstream company of fidget spinners right now?
No, not at all. There wasn't one. Was there even one?
There wasn't. That's the thing. It's like, we've spoken about how like people will hesitate to release a product that's already out. But if it's something like certain products, man, like, people are going to make it. It's going to be made. Like, how can you make yours a little unique? You know, like, the original fidget spinner was just a regular ass, 3 bearings or whatever the hell it was. And then someone came out with one that was colored. And then you have a neon light one. And these are all different companies that are copying the same person.
The glow in the dark one. And then,
but they're everyone, each one of those people, each one of those companies that made a fidget spinner, they all made off bank, mimicking somebody else and throwing their own spin on it.
Bro, this is the literal. Look at this.
Look at what is this?
This water bottle right here is the fucking epitome of that.
We each got a different brand.
And we each got a different brand. Exactly, man.
Yeah.
No, trust me. Like, that is what it is. You just can't be scared, man. You can't live in fear. I was thinking about that the other day. I was talking to the homegirl about it, because she has ins with like a bunch of restaurants and stuff, and that's a big clientele base that I want to try to approach with my advertising truck. Why? Because, like, for example, side of town that I live on, there's a Mexican restaurant on every single corner. What makes one more successful than the other? Why has one been around for 20 years, and then the other fucking sells out in a year? You know, like, why does it fluctuate like that? All because of advertisement, and all because of the effort that you put in towards towards marketing yourself. But at the end of the day, it's the same product. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, there's quality differences, but Habanero Grill and Roberto's Taco Shop sell all the same shit.
Yeah.
Pepe's Tacos sells the same shit too. You know what I'm saying? Like, they obviously there's a quality difference as well, and that's what's going to make you stand out and stuff like that. But out of the three I named, Roberto's is the lowest quality, but that's the most popular. You know?
Yeah, that's damn true. That's a good argument. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
because they fucking killed it at their advertising and their marketing. You know?
Yeah, and it's that's very true. We've even like we've been asked as well, or kind of been told to where it's like, why would you want to do a podcast, and what's something different that you would bring up that someone else hasn't? And it's like, well,
typical hater question.
It's and it's like, at the end of the day, it's really it's not about that. Like, same thing like how you brought up Mexican foods, a lot of them are the same. Well, certain ones that do stand out compared to other ones. And at the end of the day, it's what people, you know, some people want to vibe with this one, some people want that one. And it goes almost into the same thing.
It's a preference.
Yeah, it goes in, you know, it's just a very similar thing. But I definitely want to ask you, it's very obvious that like the whole grind and just being an independent mind is so instilled in you. What are some resources that you fall back on, like whether if it's a book, certain podcast, or anything like that helps keeps the mind growing? What are some things that you can share to a listener that wants to, you know, start getting on that mindset as Danny?
Yes. I mean, it really depends, you know, like there's multiple things. Like, I love reading books, you know, I love, like I said, psychological books. I'm reading The Laws of Human Nature right now. I feel like everything that I read psychologically, like, it interprets into the business world, you know?
100%.
So it keeps my head running on all cylinders, you know? But I mean, to get even deeper, I personally believe, I'm not a religious person, but I think my relationship with God and like me and him together, how we be talking, like where my vision is, I feel like no one else can see it besides me and him, you know? So like when I'm confused, when I feel like other people don't get it, when I feel like other people don't see why I'm doing what I'm doing, I think back and I'm like, all right, well, I'm not alone out here though, you know? And like I said, I'm not a religious person, but I believe I have a relationship with God, you know? So that's one thing that really like pushes me, that continues to push me, you know? Because that's why I say pay the man. People are always like, why are you saying pay the man? Because we're blessed, dude. Every day we're blessed to wake up in this vessel. So I want to wake up and do what I can do to be the best me, whether that's physical, whether I'm training, going to the gym, going on runs and shit like that, or I'm just trying to do what I was gifted to do in this earth. And I feel like that's communicating with people, that's helping people's dreams come true, that's like doing shit like that, you know? And I don't want to make my gift, I don't want to throw away my gift, you know what I'm saying? I think I'm very talented when it comes to stuff like that. I don't want to waste it. And like, especially being blessed with it, like that, especially being blessed, like I just think of it in the fact that I am blessed with having the communication skills that I do have. So I don't want to necessarily like I don't want to waste it. So that's something that keeps me pushing when the days that, you know, like we've all had it, days that you're like, fuck man, having a 9-to-5 would be so much simpler sometimes, you know?
It's very secure, right?
It's very secure. You know, that security is something that we're all chasing. But I feel like all three of us can all say that we're chasing a different type of security too, though, you know? Like
absolutely. Different lifestyle.
And realistically, it's fucked up to say, but there is no security in a 9-to-5. How many people worked for a company for 25 years and then a year ago, once coronavirus hit, they just got fucking thrown out. You know what I'm saying?
Kicked, booted.
Like, there's just as much, there's such a lack. Pretty much security is damn near a myth sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's
you just gotta know
true.
You're gonna fucking make it, you know?
Well,
I think security yes, sir.
I think even the route that you're taking right now it's almost like you're slapping security in the face, but at the same time you're creating security, right? Because I look at you, right? Danny Calderin, you could see, you know, music manager, but what's behind that as well? you're still doing your cannabis oil, you're doing your music, and then just recently you start a new business venture, which is mobile billboards, right? You bought yourself a mobile truck with a fat ass screen on it, and people are paying you hourly to rent out this truck and advertise their business throughout the strip of Las Vegas. So you're managing 3 businesses right now, yes? Maybe you have something else in the works.
Yeah, I mean, give or take a few more.
Isn't that pretty secure? Like, if one thing falls out, you still have income, right?
That's funny. I just had a conversation with my buddy Cruz this morning about that same thing. That he's like that. At the end of the day, I mean, I know for a fact none of the things that I'm doing are gonna tank. I know they're gonna be profitable. At the very least, they're gonna help me network, no matter what. At the very least, but exactly, it's actually. Like you said, I'm slapping security in the face, but at the same time, I am creating security by having multiple streams of income, Yeah.
And how I always look at it too is like, even just when you bring up a 9 to 5, I have always looked at my music to where it's like, if I own it and if I'm doing my own thing, for me, I would be happy if I'm making an equivalent of a $15, $20 an hour job, but doing what I want to do, just at the bare minimum. Like, if obviously making more is obviously the goal, but it's like, if I can,
but if you can make a living doing what you want to do, man, that's a blessing. No, 100%.
And especially with going so many different ways, like doing a podcast, DJing shows, everything where you can DJ, whether if it's private clients, clubs, wedding receptions, literally anything. And then with producing as well, all the avenues that can go with producing, producing my own beats, producing for artists, producing,
for movies, producing for commercials,
beats that you hear on TV commercials, video games, anything like that. So it's like, if one thing doesn't work, another thing may be able to pick up the slack for that. But at the end of the day, I'm happy because I'm making money doing what I
you
love
want to be
do.
doing. Exactly. And what you're blessed with, the God-given talent that you're blessed with, you know what I'm saying?
And it was go ahead.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's the same thing I'm doing. I'm just taking my God-given talent and spreading it out into different avenues. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's all the same basis, but it's different avenues. And that's the same shit you're doing. You're taking your God-given talent, but you can just distribute it into DJing gigs, into producing for artists, into producing for labels, even, you know what I'm saying? Into producing for commercials. There's so many different routes that you can take that.
See, you guys keep saying like God-given gift, right? And that's where I think it's, at least from my view, it seems a little bit off. I feel like maybe we're naturally attuned to a certain something where we may have a little bit extra stat points in this department, but at the end of the day, you're practicing communication day in, day out.
Yeah,
you're 100%. Building it, right? So like whenever you say that you're lucky or that you're blessed, like I respect that it's humble, that you're trying to be humble, but to me, it's like, fuck that. You've earned that. You've created it. Every day in, day out, you're communicating. Day in, day out, you're hustling. Day in, day out, you're doing these things to make you quote unquote lucky or blessed in the views of an outsider. But internally, dude, like I guarantee there's days where you wake up and you're like, fuck, I don't want to do shit. Like I really don't want to do anything, but you're still going out there. You're still practicing those skills.
And to add on top of that too, to the question that was asked about the resources, I think it's very huge on what you were saying, that you go to the gym, you do train, and it's like, I'll wake up at like 6:30 in the morning and I'll check my social media because it's an absolutely terrible habit that I have. And then I see a picture of you at the gym, and then there I am still laying down. I'm like, God damn, this man's already up for the day already. He already drove to the gym. He's taking a picture. And it's like, damn, and he's got a good pump. Just doing all of that. has just ultimately helped everything that you're doing. You're keeping your mind right. You're keeping your body right.
That's what it's all about.
Right.
That's why I do it.
You're staying active, whether even if it's outside of what you're doing, you're posting pictures and videos of you working out, of Pay the Man at training, things of that nature. And you're seeing, you're able to show the world that, hey, I don't want to just give you things that I'm offering. I want you to get some insight on what my day-to-days are looking like. It is me waking up in the morning at the gym. It is me going, even though I worked out in the morning, I'm going to training at night. I did everything in the middle of it. And I feel like that's absolutely very huge of what you do.
Oh, I mean, 110%. I mean, there's two reasons why I do that. You brought up the first one. It's to keep my head on right, you know, like, because I'm self-employed, you know, I need structure in my life. If not, I could sit around all day in my bed and not do shit, you know, but what good is that going to do? So it gives me structure, 110%, keeps my head on right, you know, and it keeps my thoughts loose. Like, believe it or not, you know, like when I'm working out, that's when I have my best ideas. When I'm training, that's when I have my best ideas.
Totally agree. Totally.
Because you're pumping on all cylinders. But like, that's one of the reasons why I do it. And that is, I forgot to bring that up. That is a resource, you know, that is something that keeps me going, is the discipline that I instilled on myself physically. You know, when I mentally don't feel like sending out emails that day or whatever the fuck, I just got to go get myself to go for a run, get myself to hit the gym, get myself to go to training. After that, I'm pumping, man. My brain's pumping. So now I want to come home and I'm not trying to just sit down on the couch and watch movies. You know, now I'm pumping. Now I'm trying to get my shit done. You know, now I'm trying to do shit. So that is 110% one of my biggest resources, is staying physically active, keeping my head on straight. But another reason why I not do that, but another reason why I post it on social media is to inspire people. Not in like I want people to look up to me way, you know? Like I said, 95% of people are bums. If I wake up let
me add in. I don't think they're bums. Well, there's definitely some people who do act as such. I think there's just some people who have yet to find that certain motivation. Some people are, we bring up the 9 to 5. There are some people who are kind of just trapped doing so, and just never, maybe if it's the people around them, someone who hasn't taken the leap to do something, or whatever the case may be, they may have just never found those group of friends, or just have found that route to where it's okay, let me take this 9 to 5. It's like one thing that I tell Dylan is that since he's starting up a landscaping,
shout out to Dylan, dude, making the big play moves, bro. The logo, the page, everything's decked out.
Everything. And I love one thing that I tell him is, because he's been someone that's been around, especially me, seeing everything that I've done with DJing and just the whole music grind in general. And with him finally taking that leap to do something, I always tell him, where it's like, yo, that 9 to 5, that's your investor. You don't need to go out and outsource to an investor. That 9 to 5 right now is your investor. It's one thing that has always kept, I like that mentality. Going. It's one thing that has always kept me going to a job. You know, if it's a bullshit ass warehouse job or whatever, a stagehand job, even though I like that a little bit more, but it's always that a means to an end. It's always that mindset that I have, to where it's like, yo, I don't need someone to be like, hey, here's money, do that, because you don't earn it. You don't earn it that way. Yeah, when you have a job. Yourself. And for anyone who's listening, if they are kind of like on that balance, you know, they're on that teeter-totter, like, should I do it? Should I not? At the end of the day, if it doesn't blow up, you still have the opportunity to get that good side hustle gig. And it just makes going to that 9 to 5 that much more better. You know, when it's payday, maybe instead of going out and drinking, smoking some weed, whatever the case may be, take that little bit of money and put that into, start to get yourself an LLC, start to get some equipment that you need. Are you good washing cars? Are you good mowing lawns? Are you good with, have you always had that interest with music? Do you feel like you got that mind, that business mindset? Maybe you have an interest with music, and maybe you may know of someone on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, to where it's like, hey, let me reach out to him and be like, let me work for you for 6 months and let me see what I can do. But at the end of the day, it's that 9 to 5 to go in there and put that money aside to start building up a side gig. Something and eventually where you can take that leap.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like my point with, let me reiterate, I didn't mean to call 95% of people bums. 95% of people live in fear.
You fucking meant that.
Oh, fuck. No, okay.
Exposed.
Yeah. Exposed. Fuck it. You know, I'm speaking my truth. No, 95% of people live in fear. So they'll have that vision, but they won't execute. That's what's wrong with not just our generation. That's what's wrong with the world, is that people don't execute, you know? And there's just no excuses to not get it done. So like you said, like you can work that 9 to 5, and that 9 to 5 is why you made your dreams come true. That, you know, exactly. some people are using their 9 to 5 as their excuse to not make their dreams come true. Why? Because they live in fear. But then you got somebody like our boy Feej, you know, that he's out here and the 9 to 5 is going to be why he makes his dreams come true. You know, it's just there's two ways to look at life, and 95% of people look at it one way, and the other 5% of people look at the opportunity, you know.
And just to give someone that motivation and something that I just feel like I should share because it's our boy and I love that man. He has already been in talks with someone that's going to put him on a preferred landscaping list for someone that has over 400 properties of rentals.
See, I love that. Love that for him, dude.
The thing is, like, there's no way he planned that, right? That was him taking the leap, sending it, and then taking the doors as they open.
Exactly. Once you take the leap, things start to come in your face. You know, the universe throws opportunities in your face. Why? Because you beat fear's ass. You know, it's not like it's not like I don't have fear. It's not like you guys don't have fear. Everyone has fear, but are you gonna let it win, or are you just gonna take the opportunities that get brought in front of your face? You know, you're going to make the most of them at the end of the day. Like, for example, my billboard truck, it could have easily just been an idea. You know, I met Steven. We had talks. As my buddy I bought the billboard truck from. We had talks, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, I was like, hey, dude, I really want to buy it. I really do want to buy it. I kept bringing it up, you know, but you know, at some point in his head, you know, he's thinking like, are you really going to buy it? They're like,
yeah, it's kind of bullshitting. Yeah,
you're bullshitting. And then there's times, you know, when I'm fucking writing out all the logistics and all the details and stuff like that I'm like, oh, like, it makes sense. But damn, there might be a couple weeks where I don't have these clients. There might, you know, blah, blah. Like, just
that comes fear. Knock.
Fear just comes throwing excuses at your fucking, like, left and right, man. Like, you know, but
for the person who's listening too, it's not something that came overnight for you. It wasn't something that you had all these other grinds and it just magically appeared at your front door. Like, you literally were taking notes on it. We went to lunch multiple times. You were talking to me about the ideas, and it was kind of like just hearing the price to what it was to start it. It was kind of like, I know you can do it, but then there was that little like 0.5% where it's like, is he going to do it? And then next thing you know,
it's like, well, is he gonna do it though?
And then then next thing you know, you did it. It wasn't something that came overnight. It was, and I'm sure it was probably lots of nights.
Nothing in this world comes overnight. Man,
I'm sure you sacrificed a lot of nights that weren't going out. Temptation that was knocking at your door for someone.
100%.
For someone that wanted to go out and things of such. So it was definitely not something that just magically appeared. Like, you literally worked for it day in, day out.
No, I mean,
you brought it to life through conversations and through hard work. And I really admire you for that.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I manifested it, no matter how you feel about like the word, you know, because I feel like that word in itself is very like a controversial word, because people are like, oh, you can't just think your way into success. It's like, no, you can't. But life is all about balance. You got to think positively, and then when the actions match up, when the actions match up with your thoughts, then it'll all unfold as long as you don't let fear win, you know? Like, shit, you should see my notes right now. Like, fucking, as soon as I had the idea for the truck, I just fucking went full crackhead mode on my notes, man. Like, writing down all the logistics, the overhead, the pricing, who my drivers are going to be, how much diesel gas is right now, how many miles a 4-hour run is, how many miles an 8-hour run is, how many miles around the truck, so how many runs can I do with this truck before it hits 500,000 miles, let's say, you know, which is an insane amount of runs, by the way.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah, for sure. And
there's a
just
lot,
because
it's not just, oh, I want to do this. Boom. All right, now I'm doing it. You know, it's like you have to prepare. You have to prepare. Like you brought up way earlier in the podcast, you know, like if you don't have a system in play, if you're not prepared, reality will punch you in the jaw real fucking quick, you know?
Yeah,
real quick.
And I guess this is a really good conversation that we're having, and we'll definitely be picking up off of for another episode. So I just want to end it with one good question, and it's always something that I think about, and about a 60-second response. What does success mean to you?
It's a good one.
That is a good one. That's a great question. God damn it.
Give me about like a 60-second response.
60-second response?
Something that comes to your head, what success means to you.
Well, what success means to me, I would say, is the freedom to do what you want, but not just do what you want, but help the people that you want to help. Not just randoms and strangers out there on the streets, you know, giving people money and donating, stuff like that. But like, let's say your sister can't pay her car note, you know, like, let's say whatever, like, you know, life happens, you know, the ability to take care of the people that you care and you love about. I think that's the epitome of success. And when it comes with freedom of time, and freedom to do what you want with your days, and freedoms to continue to grind, even the freedom, the honor to continue to grind and to be in the position to continue to grind. Like, for example, training isn't cheap, you know, like for me to be financially successful, like I need to be able to afford to be training. I need to be able to afford all my bills and then some to be able to build wealth with my money. But also at the same time, need to be able to help the people that I care about, the people that I love. Because if I, like, the shittiest feeling in the world, I felt it before and I fucking never want to feel it again, is when someone genuinely needs your help and you can't offer it to them, you know?
Yep. Success equals freedom.
Yeah.
Right then and
freedom.
there.
The success equals the freedom to do what you want to do, but the freedom to be able to help the people that you want to help, the people that you care about, and to help the people in need too, you know? Because like we live in abundance here in America. There's not a lot of places that do live in the abundance that we do, you know? So like at the end of the day, once I'm really, really wealthy, I want to be able to go out there and physically, person to person, build relationships with people that are struggling, people that haven't been put in situations that we're put in, and give them hope, inspire them, let them know like, yo, you can do this.
That's a killer response, man.
No, that's a really good response.
Fuck yeah, man.
And we're gonna pick up off in another episode. But we appreciate you coming out. This is gonna conclude episode 3. And for everyone out there still listening, as we always say, stay hungry, stay focused. We'll see you next week.
All money in, baby. No, I appreciate you guys having me, for real. I look forward to being on this podcast again.
Perfect.
Independent mind, baby.
Hey, love you, Danny. Take care.
Yeah, love y'all too. Y'all take it easy.